Today we are going to be talking about the state of Fortnite content because this tweet from Lachlan ended up getting quite a bit of attention, and additionally Clarque, who is in the replies over here, made for a very even bigger interesting conversation about this as well. Today we are going to be taking a look at all of it for you today. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. So let me bring you again to the two things that ended up stirring up the most conversation, okay? It was this tweet from Lachlan over here. One more 10 out of 10 performing Fortnite video and I'm becoming a Roblox YouTuber. And of course, for those of you who are not YouTubers, a 10 out of 10 video is the worst video that you can have. YouTube gives you a ranking of your videos and this is not what you want to see, okay? And Clarque ended up actually quote tweeting this, and this stirred up a little bit more of a conversation. What Mr. JOY said I wanted to take a look at too. And by the way, guys, please go follow both Jay and Clarque in the description down below. The people that we regularly collaborate with will be in the description down below for you guys to take a look at if you guys are interested in any of those channels. So Clarque ended up saying this: it might be time to accept that people are just burnt out with Fortnite. The game is fun and will always hold players, but the hype around it just isn't there. To be honest with you, I actually disagree with this. I always, there's been so many times now where Fortnite has been up, Fortnite has been down, and we go through this every single summer update. I know that Epic Games is back now at the time of recording this video, but I was waiting for it for the entire time that Epic Games was on their summer break. Hey, Fortnite's dead. Fortnite's not the same, but I do understand what Clarque is saying because there are a lot of people that are burnt out of Fortnite and that number of players is growing. And I'm not saying this is what Clarque is saying, but there's a ton of people that are constantly saying things like, oh, well, Fortnite doesn't have a future. Fortnite videos are going to die unless you make the I snuck into fashion show type thing. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I think, and I'm not going to lie to you, I love that there's so many great creators over here, but I guarantee you guys, if there comes a time where Fortnite gets into a stale place where everybody is leaving the game, I'm going to be here grinding the content and filling that hole and then just getting the audience for myself over here. But I do obviously prefer having a community. I love, and at this point in my career now, I love the fact that there are so many great people that I've met through this, so many great videos, and it only makes me appreciate like getting to know people like Jay, getting to know people like Clarque, and all of the other creators that we've been talking about. It just makes me appreciate their content even more because as I've gotten to know these people over the years now, it's crazy the amount of work that they put in. It makes me happy for like actual, like, you know, really good, genuine people to succeed. So it sucks to me that so many people are, you know, struggling with Fortnite content. Again, I'm not saying that's what Jay and Clarque are saying because they're on the screen right now. Like people like Lachlan, they are a little bit burnt out of Fortnite content. They're a little bit burnt out of Fortnite, you know. So it sucks to see. It sucks to see, but I think that Fortnite content is going to be a-okay. But I ended up posting this over on X. I saw a lot of people talking about the state of Fortnite content, and it's all been super interesting. What are your thoughts on the state of Fortnite content at the moment? Drop your thoughts below, and I will include some in an upcoming video. Thank you for your time, and if you would like to join the conversation, follow me over on X at Clen YouTube, or you can find the direct links at the top of the link tree at the top of the description, or with the direct link will be in the description down below as well. Like and subscribe if you have not already. We're going to be taking replies from myself, Lachlan, Clarque, Jay, everything that we ended up seeing. So there was a couple really interesting threads that I wanted to take a look at. Icon Queen was somebody who ended up responding to Clarque saying this: honestly, game fatigue can be a real issue. They don't take many chances because a loud minority of pro players crying about everything. It's just like, wow, another underpowered mythic that feels repetitive to not upset anybody. I don't think that it's just the pro players. I don't think that. I think it's just I think it varies from individual to individual. Clarque ended up responding saying, I'm not going to blame pro players for this. I think it's a general backlash they got from Wrecked last year. It wasn't just pros that were upset with the meta, and to be fair, competitive players in general have a right to be frustrated now with the state of competitive Fortnite, specifically ranked. It needs a rework. I wish that I could expand upon the state of competitive Fortnite. While I do enjoy playing competitive Fortnite, I'll play ranked, and I love ranked reload. I love the game of competitive Fortnite. I'm not too involved with like actual competitive Fortnite to have a take on there. And then Icon Queen ended up responding to this saying, I have to slightly disagree. I don't feel that the pro players are 100% to blame for the state of the game, but I also don't feel that the pro players have any more right than anyone else to feel frustrated. Okay, let's hear what else she had to say, okay? The average pro player doesn't spend much money on the game, but they use the free game to make money. There's been a focus on pacifying the pro players, and I guess that it just feels like there's a huge sense of entitlement from that community. To be honest, they are a business, and they need to function like one. The best thing that they could do from a business standpoint is to stop focusing on any particular niche of player and focus on making the game more enjoyable for more players who actually spend money on the game. That is a totally fair take. I just don't know, like, From my perspective, it seems like a lot of the pro players are just kind of like doing their own thing, and they're whining about competitive more than anything. Something that I just talked about, and I'm almost sure it was a Nick 30 video that I just made, where you'll have a pro player every once in a while come over to pubs and be like, I just want to chill, and it's not okay that the game is like this when you're a competitive player. Like, why do you want to change everything, you know? Every once in a while, you'll have those types of people, but I think that's fair, and I think that I wish that Epic Games could have a solid balance, again, splitting the loot pool. And perhaps there isn't a sense of entitlement from the competitive community as well, but I also get a huge sense of entitlement from the Fortnite community in general. So I don't think it's a particular niche within the Fortnite community. I think it's just, again, I think it varies from individual to individual. Let's continue on to another reply. Star Wars killed the game. A lot of people hold this opinion. It's just not true. I know that Star Wars Experience, and I don't know if it was the lowest played season, but it was really seeing a dip within the player base, which is a little bit surprising to me, to be honest. But still, guys, like, how many times do we have to stress this? That just because Epic Games has, and I don't know what the player numbers were, okay, for Star Wars, whatever the number is, any other game would kill to have that player base. Like, Epic Games and Fortnite is still incredibly successful. And I forgot to talk about this in general when it came to Fortnite content. You know how people are getting burnt out of Fortnite content, people are getting burnt out of Fortnite? Dude, the Fortnite videos are still doing well. This has been the state of Fortnite since the beginning of time. You see up and down, up and down, up and down, depending on what's going on in Fortnite. We're experiencing a little bit of a dip right now. I'm experiencing a little bit of a dip right now. It happens. And Epic Games is going to come up with another season. They're going to come up with another banger update. Something about the storyline is going to take off, and then people are going to have a bunch of videos being made again and having successful videos. Like, it's been the same deal with Fortnite over and over again. And I think that people were getting, another thing that people are hung up on is how many people were getting so many views within Chapter 5. That was because of all of the negativity surrounding Fortnite, and then everybody was constantly make the Epic Games is finished. This person's mad at this person, you know? Epic Games it doesn't care about their Fortnite player base, and Epic Games, what happened to Chapter 1 Fortnite? I missed Chapter 1. All of that type of content really resonated with a lot of people, and it was booming. So a lot of people who typically didn't get views on YouTube too saw a lot of success through that. Negativity is a lot easier to farm attention, and now that Fortnite's actually in a really good state with Chapter 6 being some of the most fun gameplay that we've had, like a lot of people are talking about this season that we're in, depending on when you're watching this video, Chapter 6 Season 3 being a top 5 season of all time. When the game has its gameplay just really solid and healthy, you're not going to have a bunch of people making videos online talking about the state of Fortnite and how much it sucks, because people are online just enjoying themselves playing the game. So we're in one of those weird situations of Fortnite content. Let's continue on to another reply over here. Let's be real, Lachlan. Fortnite is running out of ideas. Roblox is massive, and the player base isn't made off the backs of being competitive. The content is able to be made from creativity instead of skill. More fun that way, honestly. I don't think that Fortnite's running out of ideas. Look at this brand new season that we've had here. Yeah, they've done the superhero theme before, but look at all of the brand new, unique things that have been added to the game. Everybody constantly says Fortnite's been running out of ideas, but honestly, I don't think that could be further from the truth, man. Apollo had this to say: Fortnite content just isn't as good anymore. People are making uninteresting content and it all feels the same. The game isn't dying, it's just content being boring, especially the big creators. Well, this is where I always tell you to say, and I don't mean, I know this is going to come off, guys. I know this is going to come off where it's like, hey, everybody, come watch a channel like me. Come watch Clen. I make videos that the big YouTubers would never make. I'm not saying that. I actually, and I'll try to remember at the end of the video, and no promises on that, I made a video a while ago of every single Fortnite YouTuber that I watch and why you should too, and I explained, like, if you're looking for a particular amount of content, check out this channel. I'll try to plug that in, and one day I'll make an update for that video because I've only found more channels as time's gone on. Like, there's a couple people that, like, unfortunately it slipped my mind to include while I was making that video, but we'll update it in time, okay? But I get that. A lot of the commentary videos have felt the same over the years. A lot of the bigger YouTubers have felt the same over the years, and I understand why people wouldn't want to watch that, but there'll always be a dip. We're in a dip right now, and it'll all end up being okay. Fortnite is going to be and is one of the most successful games of all time. There'll always be content on it. There'll always be new updates to make things about. I'm feeling very optimistic about it. But of course, we do have many other very interesting replies to take a look at too. Let me stop you for just a second, guys, because with these videos, we have also been advertising our supporter creator code. I ask that if you do not have a supporter creator code that you are currently using in the item shop, please consider using my code, code Clen. I have been grinding as hard as I possibly can on YouTube in order to help my family, which life has gotten so expensive. So you guys have been giving me a nice amount of breathing room each month, and it's been helping. So again, if you do not have a code that you are currently using in the item shop, please consider using my code Clen. Thank you very much for listening. Let's get into, and this was the most interesting reply of them all, okay? So Jay ended up responding to Klarque saying, feels a bit unfair to place all the blame solely on Fortnite. Seems like there's been an internal content shift based around his recent video flow, even the thumbnails. And with a lot of these YouTubers like Lachlan, and this is why I think it was an interesting point, you can just see them feeling drained with it, you know? And that's fine. Like, they've been doing it for so long, and they probably don't even love it anymore. I get that, but you can see that. Klarque ended up responding to say, Jay, I'm looking at the bigger picture here. Lachlan isn't the only creator going through this at the moment, and the player numbers are lower this year compared to last. I think people in general are getting tired of Fortnite and Fortnite content. The game has been out for 8 years. It's not going to stay relevant forever. We might be on a downhill swing right now. I disagree with, I think that Fortnite's going to stay, oh, sorry, he said stay as relevant forever. Okay, sorry about that. I thought that he was saying it's not going to stay relevant forever. And even if it comes to this season, guys, and people are getting tired of Fortnite right now, like, they'll come up with a new season, people like that season. There are so many different things within Fortnite, different season themes that people like. Again, there's people in my personal lives, one guy in particular, and I'm sure there's so many other people like this. He plays depending on what the season is. He'll log on. If he doesn't like the season, you won't see him again until next season. If he likes the season, he'll be on every day. Like, Fortnite is just one of those games that's forever changing, and as the metaverse continues to expand and grow, I think the player base will only increase. The only issue is, how's Fortnite content going to look? But I do think that Fortnite content will be okay in the future. Jay ended up responding and said, can't you see how every single one of those points could be flipped? Roblox is a 20-year-old game, and that's exactly my part of the argument about Blitz being permanent. Fortnite doesn't care and shouldn't care about splitting their own player base by introducing things like Blitz. I find it genuinely nauseating that the community can openly praise a framework like Roblox and games like Grow Your Garden, yet turn around blindly downplay UEFN in the Fortnite metaverse. It's incredibly rich. In my opinion, Epic Games' long-term goal shouldn't be to dominate the top of Fortnite creator maps. If Roblox is the vehicle, then why are we still committed to keeping Battle Royale and Epic themselves on top? I'm not gonna lie, I think Jay cooked here. Dude, if Jay, Klarque, if either of you end up watching this video, I would love to see you two stream about this topic. I would love that. Because I think you're both incredibly well-spoken. I think you're both great guys, and I have a lot of respect for both things that you say. And I find myself agreeing a little bit more with Jay here. And I would love it, guys. I would love it. So, Klarque, if you happen to be watching this video, invite Jay on a stream. I would be down to watch that. I'd be notifications on, man, sitting down, ready to go. I think that'd be a very, very interesting stream. So, wait, what does this have to do with Blitz? Yeah, I don't think Jay even mentioned Blitz, but I could be wrong about that, okay? I'm talking about the overall culture of Fortnite and people being burnt out of the game. I understand what you're saying about UEFN and player counts. If Fortnite is holding healthy players overall, they probably don't care about the numbers of one mode. But what I'm talking about is a bigger picture than just player numbers. I'm talking about general interest of Fortnite on and off the game. Content is not as successful as it was, and people are not as interested in Fortnite as a game in general. Jay ended up responding to that saying, we're using Roblox as a case study, right? With all due respect, this isn't really a AAA game. The framework is easily replicated in UEFN, and it already has been. Sure, Roblox is currently bigger in terms of viewership and playtime, but what does that really mean? You're shifting the audience and possibly the age range. For me, it ultimately comes down to money and relevancy. Roblox creators become massive and focused on one specific map. Just imagine a Fortnite creator who only makes lumberjack content pulling 400k views per video. Lachlan complains, but he's playing Battle Royale. He can't put two and two together. 36% of playtime is UGC. And, sorry, which one's UG? I'm sorry, guys. I'm really stupid right now. I don't know what UGC is. User-generated content? Did I just get it? Sorry if I just ruined the flow of the video, guys. Sorry about that. Why are all these millionaires complaining in chat and not one of them has a spark to say, right, let's pour money into UEFN and actually make content? I'm not talking about Cypher making one video and calling it done. I mean the next video and the next one and the next one and so on. Or never make a video on it and can't work out why player numbers on your map collapse. You know what? I never actually thought about that. That's actually really, really interesting. I would love to see people dive into that again. You're having an entirely different conversation than me right now. If you want, oh, there we go. I didn't know Klarque ended up inviting on stream. Dude, did I miss that stream? Come on. At the time of recording this video, I was watching Klarque's stream for a little bit the other night. Oh my God. Man, sorry. If you want, you can jump on stream later. We can talk about it, but I think you're talking past what I'm trying to convey. I see your point, but that's not what I'm talking about here. And Jay ended up responding saying, I don't think that's far removed from your point. Players are burnt out because they are consistently doing the same content. The big creators dictate the pace, but the players shift to Roblox, which is a metaverse type that Epic wants to become. I get what you're saying, but I believe subject is closer to your point. Depends when you're live. I find myself agreeing a little bit more with Jay here, but I totally understand what Klarque was saying too. I thought it was a fair comparison again because this is what Fortnite is becoming, like a Roblox type thing. I'd love to know what you guys think about this down below, guys. I found that thread very, very interesting, and that sucks if Jay was already on the stream because it doesn't suck. I can always go back and watch it, right? Sorry about that. But we do have more replies to take a look at, too. Grookey ended up saying this. I don't think I've realized this, but I myself have stopped watching Fortnite content, and I guess the same is being applied for most people. It's not the creators' fault, that's for sure. But when we talk about most people, like if you look at these other YouTubers, they're still having majorly successful videos. Hundreds of thousands of views. They're still I think people see a little bit of a dip in the success they've had, and then it's like, oh my god, I'm not successful anymore. Like, people are still getting views. While right now, I'm seeing a little bit of a dip in my view count, but it's still like close enough to make me not go, oh my god, just nobody wants to watch anything anymore. It depends. Again, it varies from person to person when it comes to Fortnite, man. Pro0 had this to say, it baffles me that creators struggle with Fortnite topics. It seems like there's always something happening to make content on. Maybe it's just me, but I think content is in a great spot. There's competition, differing opinions, and people like Endy creating mini movies. I need to check out those movies, and I know Loot Station is uploading a movie too, but I agree with Pro0 here. And Pro0, another daily uploader that always has something to talk about, guys. Please go check him out. That's one of the YouTubers that it slipped my mind to and end up including in my every YouTuber you should watch video. So Zero, if you end up watching that, my apologies for that. I agree with that. There's always something to talk about with Fortnite. I love this game. I love playing this game. And I love talking about this game. So I'm going to continue talking about this game. It varies from individual and each individual YouTuber as well. Like, I think passion matters a lot. And a lot of these people are burnt out of the game. So, and that's another thing. And I'm not saying anybody else has been saying this. I think that we have a huge problem with this Fortnite community in saying that I'm burnt out of this game, so everybody else is. You know, that's not accurate. And we need to have a little bit of a mindset shift with that. Todd had this to say. Honestly, I just care if the game is fun. And if the content is good, yeah, it sucks Fortnite is losing players, but I think there comes a time where games that were once popular start to die down. As harsh as they may be, I think we got to accept it. Like, for example, GTA 5 Online. It was probably the greatest online game, but once 2020 ended, the game kind of went downhill a bit. I mean, there were times where people come back, but it's not as big anymore. Plus, the updates have been kind of lackluster. We hear this a lot, though. Like, I think it's time, and like when people, I know I'm twisting the words of Todd over here, but this is something that a lot of people say, like, oh, Fortnite's just starting to die down, and we have to accept it. But it's not true. It's not true. Like, okay, you comparing it to Chapter 1, that's fine. Yeah, I get that. The numbers you can't possibly compete with those numbers again. Were they bigger a year ago? Sure. But there's going to be moments where the player count just goes right back up too. Epic Games has done this time and time again over the years. I have nothing but faith that Epic Games will be okay in Fortnite, okay? Emmanuel had this to say. Like every other online game, Fortnite is a period where it's not much content, and that's when we start seeing the most repetitive video ideas, like random skin challenges, etc. But around a new season launches or big events, YouTubers have tons of fresh content to make videos on. So I think it's fine if not all videos perform greatly. YouTube isn't a cheat code for infinite money. It's a process of trial and error to figure out what you like and what works for you. I think that was very well said, man. I think that was very well said. I have nothing to add to that point there. It's Capri had this to say. The content is not there. I look forward to watching YouTube videos from Fortnite content creators, but lately it's been dry and repetitive. I do love watching reaction videos or other videos from the creators though, even if it's not Fortnite related. I think Fortnite may be running out of ideas, or they just really don't care anymore. I have noticed less and less events, videos for new release cosmetics, less leak week content updates since the announcement of the metaverse. It's sad because this game used to pull in so many players from all the content the game created. I would really love to see a mini season based on Fortnite content creators. Ooh, that'd be cool. They get to create their own POI, then maybe have some smaller creators create landmark locations. It would be like a thank you to these creators for keeping Fortnite relevant. Then, the mini pass consists of Fortnite cosmetics from the community creators. Fortnite and Epic Games need to give recognition to these creators, or big or small. Yeah, the Fortnite creators have been a big reason as to why Fortnite has been so successful over the years, and I think it's a little far-fetched to say that you should make a season for that. I think like a reload map would be excellent for something like that. But it would also be, well, they do deserve it. It'd be Nick A30, Cypher, Lachlan, you know what I mean? Laserbeam get a POI, but I'd be okay with that. They obviously pulled in the the proper amount of players, and they do need to be thanked over the years. But it would be cool for Epic Games to do something like that, man. Pro Zero ended up replying to Klarque saying, "Doesn't this happen every summer though? Epic takes a break and interest fades. They always seem to bounce back. I'm not saying that interest won't pick back up, but there is more factors at play than just lower player numbers. It's lower player numbers and less interest in Fortnite content. I think it's a sign of Fortnite fatigue with the format of the main game." As the metaverse continues, I just find myself disagreeing with Klarque here. I think that Fortnite has proven themselves to be okay time and time again. And yeah, if people are losing interest right now, that's fine, but it'll pick back up. I agree with Pro Zero. Like every single summer event. And I've been talking about this before the summer event happened, where it's like, oh my God, Epic doesn't care anymore. And again, I'm not saying that's what Lachlan or Klarque was saying. It's just what we hear from the player base. We always have this conversation every single summer. Every summer. It's crazy, man. The Avengers Hype Guy had this to say: "It's a little stale, mainly because of the summer updates don't offer too much, and I think it's just a lack of content. But it's usually when in the fall where we get a content overload. So there shouldn't be anything to worry about at all. I think it may be a lack of content and interest too." I don't know what to think too, like, because you have the summer argument as well, where it's, okay, well, maybe it's because of summer, people are out and people are, outside doing their own things, but there are also people like not in school and at home. So I don't know if the summer actually has an effect on the player base, but yeah, once the fall comes in, once winter rolls around, people are inside, Fortnite content's going to only continue on. Spider Prime had this to say in response to Klarque: "I have played either 2 to 3 times this season alone. I just don't like the game anymore. There's nothing fun anymore when you're playing by yourself, and even with friends it's boring, and the only thing fun is playing with your friends, but ATP, we just switched to a different game." Klarque said, "I am the complete opposite. This season is amazing, I'm playing more, but I also realize that the general hype for Fortnite just seems lower. Doesn't mean the game is bad, I think a lot of people are just tired." That's a fair take too. Yeah, the game right now is great and in a good stage, but it's just the general enjoyment and hype that I feel like it has been slowly dying and stuff. I don't hate the game, I love it, but it's not the same feeling it used to be when I played even a year ago. Yeah, something that I do agree with is the feeling of Fortnite. Like the hype level of Fortnite, that hasn't been there. But I'm hopeful with the story. I'm hopeful with events. Epic Games seems like they've been on track for Chapter 6, and I only have hope as time goes on. This chapter has been so good that I have no reason to believe that Epic Games is going to drop the ball. I think they're going to have I don't think they should even have a comeback, but they're going to have a huge comeback, okay? Sourheart had this to say: "Really hope Fortnite and Epic Games take this tweet seriously, as they should. When even the biggest YouTubers in the space are getting fail videos with your content, then it means the audience just isn't feeling it." But again, Lachlan's videos, go look at his channel. You go look at Lachlan's channels and tell me that guy's a failure. You tell me any single one of his videos that he's uploaded has been a failure. Yes, it's lower, but that's still majorly successful. That's the, not issue that I have, but that's where I disagree with so many people. I don't understand how you can look at Lachlan's videos. Yeah, Lachlan got a 10 out of 10. Fine. I understand that you want to do better. But that 10 out of 10 was still majorly successful. A lot of people would kill for those numbers. But I understand, man. If you want to talk a little bit more about the Fortnite space in general, Nick830 ended up just going viral for calling out Epic Games. You can check out that video right here. We just talked about it. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Take care, guys.